Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin just perfectly rejected from my exact area of resistance again, and is now wiping out a bunch of liquidity to the downside. But now that this is happening, we're forming a new bullish divergence in the short term, alongside the price of Solana also starting to confirm a new bullish divergence, while the price of XRP is repeating history in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and currently the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're still losing bullish momentum in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, but of course not yet confirming a bearish crossover, at least on the weekly time frame. But this is still a sign of weakness in the shorter term, in the short to mid term for the price of Bitcoin. And also looking at this weekly Bitcoin chart, obviously we still have a major bearish divergence to watch out for, with higher highs confirmed in the price in the candle closes and lower highs confirmed and continuing to form in the weekly Bitcoin RSI. And so overall, of course, these larger time frames are once again still saying that we're technically within the bull market. We've not confirmed a new bear market or anything like that, but potentially for the next few weeks or possibly months, we could be due to see a bit of a slow period in the market, either a large sideways consolidation or maybe even a bit more of a pullback in the coming weeks or months as a likely scenario. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, it's pretty much telling us the same thing on this chart as well. Obviously, recently we have confirmed a bearish crossover in the 3-day Bitcoin MACD, indicating potentially a little bit more bearish momentum beginning to build. But overall, we're not necessarily seeing a significant amount of momentum to the downside, just simply seeing weakness in the shorter term. But if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously, at least for now, the price of Bitcoin is still in this sideways price range, bouncing around between support and resistance. So, of course, we still have strong support in between around 101 to 102,000 approximately, and strong resistance in between around 110 to 112,000. And so while the price is just bouncing around between this support and this resistance, once again, we're still in a sideways price range, basically just consolidating sideways, potentially during a larger bullish trend, because at least for now, we've not yet actually confirmed a trend reversal, at least not yet. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, obviously over the last couple of days, and as I said in my last video, we did have a bullish divergence right here between these two lows in the price of Bitcoin, and then ultimately we did see a little bit more of a bullish relief in the price following over the next one day, for the next few hours or so, following the bullish divergence. But of course, as I always say, we cannot ignore these points of resistance where the price is most likely going to reject from or struggle at. And as I also explained in more detail in my last video just yesterday, of course, in the shorter term, we can see short-term bullish moves and short-term bearish moves, but for now, we're in a larger sideways price range, lacking momentum to either direction. So like I explained in my last video, if we see a short-term bullish move, expect it to be short-lasted. Expect a pullback coming soon after a bullish move, and vice versa. If we see a short-term dump, expect a bit of a bounce coming soon after that short-term dump. That's exactly what I said in my last video before we saw this move play out. And so once again, we continue to play out the bullish divergence a little longer, right until we entered this exact area of resistance I warned about, once again in between 106 to 107,000, and then right in that area we started to struggle as expected. Once again, saw a rejection, and then ultimately came back down towards this area of support. And not only that, we've now wiped out this area of liquidity that I've been warning about for the last 2 to 3 days now, which was sitting at around 103,000. And so once again, if you've watched any of my videos over the last few days, I've been talking about that 103k level because we had a lot of liquidity in this Bitcoin liquidation heat map building at 103,000. So I've been saying it's extremely likely that very soon, some point soon, we will see a quick move towards the downside as a very likely scenario, just to take out that liquidity. As always, there's no such thing as a 100% guarantee. So even though that's very likely, of course, it's not 100% guaranteed. But once again, this was a very likely scenario that I've already been talking about over the last few days. Just a quick little move towards the downside below 103,000 just to take out that liquidity. And obviously now that has played out perfectly here. And so now that that move has already happened, of course, we're currently running into this area of support again in between roughly 103,500 to 104,000. So ideally for the bulls out there, we need to get back above 104,000 and actually hold above that area in order to actually reclaim this area on the price chart and continue to use it as support. Because otherwise, if we start rejecting now from around 104,000, give or take, if we fail to get back above that area, then it's likely we could retest this significant area of support which once again is still sitting in between 101,000 to 102,000. So continue to expect a lot of support around there. And obviously we bounced from pretty close to 102,000 just recently. And also we are just now starting to form and getting close to really starting to confirm a new bullish divergence on the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, because obviously over the last one day, we've just created a new lower low in the price in the candle closes, but we're still currently forming higher lows in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is of course a bullish divergence, telling us that we could potentially see a little bit more of just a slight bullish relief, maybe a bit of chubby sideways price action, but essentially just a bit of a break or a relief from all of this bearish price action here, maybe just for a day or two. Once again, just talking about the short term here. But as I've said many times recently here on the channel, don't expect significant momentum really to either direction, especially the bullish direction right now, considering the larger timeframes are showing signs of weakness and a lack in bullish momentum. So if we see a slight bullish move, expect a bit of a pullback or expect that move to be short lasted, like I said, over the last few days, and then vice versa. If we see a bit of a dump to the downside, that's not necessarily going to last forever, and it's likely we'll see a little bit of a relief not long after that dump, because ultimately if we're zooming out a little bit, once again, we're still within basically a sideways price range, basically just chopping around sideways. So we're only really seeing these short-term bullish and short-term bearish movements for now. And so overall, these are my expectations moving forward. If we can get back above 104,000 and now actually hold above this area again and continue to use this area as support, then ultimately that would further confirm the bullish divergence. And in that situation, over the next one day, maybe over the next couple of days, I would expect just a slight little relief like this is the most likely outcome now in the short term, thanks to this new bullish divergence. But if, for example, over the next few hours, over the next day, the price just kind of plays out sideways price action like this, but struggles to get back above 104,000 and hold above that area, in that situation, maybe after a little bit of sideways price action, maybe in a couple of days from now, after we first play out a slight relief like this, I would expect another test of this strong area of support in between 101,000 to 102,000. So those are my exact expectations moving forward and the key levels that I'm watching. And with that being said, what is my exact trading strategy with my own money? And well, right now I'm still in the long position for the price of Bitcoin, because this is obviously a swing trade that I've been talking about for the last couple of months now on the channel. Ever since we broke out above 88,000, that was the change in price structure from the previous bearish trend on the daily time frame to a new bullish trend, officially confirming from that breakout onwards. And as I've mentioned many times here in the channel, I'd only start to flip more bearish again on the trend for the price of Bitcoin if we see a confirmed break below around 101,000. So for example, if we see a daily candle close below 101,000, and especially if we fail to get back above that previous area of support here, in that situation, that'll be a significant change in price structure for the bearish direction, pointing towards more of a bearish trend on the daily time frame for potentially a period of weeks or months. And so of course, in that situation, they'll just exit out of this swing trade, exit out of the long position with my stop loss sitting just below that key point of support. But considering the fact that we've really seen no significant changes, especially in terms of the larger moves here over the last one day, considering that obviously I've made no new major changes to this position or this trading strategy over the last one day. But of course, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities to make a lot of easy profits in the crypto market, like what I'm doing right now, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on 2bit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses, like for example, up to $50,000 in trading bonuses you can claim using the link below this video just by trading crypto. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can also get a $30 sign up bonus and a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your 2bit account. But once again, only if you use that link. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there's also BitUnex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to BitUnex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page where you can also claim some massive trading bonuses over here. Like for example, up to $45,000 in trading bonuses and also deposit bonuses. Like for example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus onto your BitUnex account. But once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go on one of these exchanges exchanges here using the links below this video to take advantage of these massive bonuses. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and currently Ethereum just retested this key level of support sitting at roughly around 2.4k, and currently we are continuing to hold that as support. And so obviously in the immediate short term, this is some good news for the price of ETH, because if we actually confirm a break with at least a daily candle close, and especially if we fail to get back above this level, in that situation, if we break below 2.4k with confirmation, that would be extremely bearish for the price of ETH. That would be a significant change in price structure and point towards potentially more of a bearish trend or a bearish reversal for the price, and a drop at least down towards around 2.1k, possibly lower, possibly below 2,000, but at least 2.1k is what I would personally be expecting if we first confirm a break below around 2.4k approximately. But obviously, at least for now, we are continuing to hold that as support. And of course, when it comes to resistance, we do have some short-term resistance here and there, but the next significant area of resistance is really sitting in between around 2.7k to 2.8k. And so for now, the price of ETH is basically just still in a sideways price range, chopping around between support and resistance. And we could also likely find a bit of short-term resistance at roughly around 2.5k, give or take, considering that's previous support. And now that we've broken below that level, it likely becomes short-term resistance. And of course, on this daily Ethereum price chart, we also have a bearish divergence, which is technically still active. And so like I've been saying every day for over a week now on the channel, we're most likely going to see either a little bit more of a pullback in the short term, or at best just some sideways price action. So essentially, don't expect significant bullish momentum anytime soon. Yes, we could see little short-term bounces here and there, but once again, don't expect significant bullish momentum like what we saw in May, for example, at least not right now. And so that is still the situation for the price of ETH. Obviously, not a lot has changed over the last one day. So getting straight into the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and what Solana has done over the last one day is now officially confirm a daily candle close below 143, which is now one confirmation signal, helping to confirm the break below this very important area of support. And so obviously this could be a big deal for the price of Solana if we fail to get back above this area. For the bulls out there, we need to very quickly in the next few days or so reclaim this area on the price chart, basically confirming daily candle closes back above 143 to 146, and then holding above that area in order to basically just confirm this as just a fake out to the downside rather than an actual break. Because if, for example, we fail to get back above that area in the next few days, and instead we find resistance in that area in between 143 to 146, and if we start rejecting from that area over the next few days, that would be extremely bearish for the price of Solana when we're talking about the next few weeks or possibly months, and we'll likely see a drop at least down towards around 124 to 125, possibly lower, but that would be basically be the next major price target that I'll be looking at if we fail to get back above this area in the next few days. And as for short-term resistance, expect some resistance now in between around 143 to 146. But with that being said, if we're taking a look at the 6-hour Solana price chart, what's very interesting is we now have a new bullish divergence to watch out for, which is technically now confirmed, with lower lows confirmed in the price and higher lows now confirming in the 6-hour Solana RSI. And so as usual, a bullish divergence means we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or perhaps just a bit of choppy sideways price action. So a breakaway relief from all of the bearish price action, which means this could potentially help to invalidate the break to the downside on the daily time frame if we can actually see a bit more of a bullish relief back above roughly 146. Once again, around this level on the price chart is where we need to break out above in order to potentially invalidate the break to the downside on the daily time frame. But remember, a bullish divergence by itself does not necessarily mean we're going to see significant bullish momentum. In fact, usually we don't necessarily see massive bullish momentum from a bullish divergence. And so just because we now have this on the 6-hour time frame, once again, don't expect a massive bullish move straight away. And in fact, it's possible we don't get back above this area. So for example, a likely scenario could be maybe just a little bit of a bullish relief like this, but then starting to struggle around that 146 level approximately, finding resistance around there. That could be a possible scenario that we need to consider. But at least for the next 1 day or so, maybe longer, maybe for the next couple of days, but in the immediate short term, I expect a little bit of a relief from the bearish price action. So no significant bearish move over the next 1 day is the most likely outcome due to this new bullish divergence. But once again, if we struggle to get back above that area on the daily time frame, as I mentioned earlier, at some point over the next few days, if we struggle to get back above that area, ultimately expect a continued bearish move over the next few weeks or possibly months on these slightly larger timeframes when we're talking about the midterm. And so those are my expectations and the key signals to watch out for in the shorter term and the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily timeframe, obviously XRP is still lacking momentum. We're still in a sideways price range, just bouncing around sideways between support and resistance. So we still have significant support in between around $2.05 to $2.10 and significant resistance still in between around $2.30 to $2.35. And ultimately, pay attention to what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the crypto market is doing, because if Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, are just bouncing around sideways, expect something similar to continue for the price of XRP. Or, for example, if Bitcoin, let's just say, continues more of a pullback, that can also drag the price of XRP to the downside. So keep that in mind. Really focus on what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins are doing to figure out what could be likely about to happen next for the price of XRP. But if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 8-hour XRP price chart, we now have a new bullish divergence that's flashing but not really confirmed right now on the 8-hour time frame, because we do have lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes on the 8-hour time frame, but we currently have higher lows just forming but not really properly confirmed, at least right now, on the 8-hour XRP RSI. And obviously, the last time we saw a bullish divergence confirm on the 8-hour XRP price chart, we did see a bullish relief over the next few days, just in the shorter term, before ultimately pulling back and playing out, once again, some choppy sideways price action within a sideways price range. And so if we see a little bit more confirmation here by seeing a bit more of a bounce like this in the RSI to actually confirm the higher low in place in the RSI, in that situation, if that happens over the next few hours, over the next day, would likely see maybe a couple of days worth of a slight bullish relief, or maybe just a bit more choppy sideways price action. So once again, a break or a relief from the bearish price action if we see a bit more confirmation here. And so history is potentially repeating in the shorter term for the price of XRP, but once again, we're still waiting for confirmation. And overall, even if this confirms, don't necessarily expect significant momentum on the larger timeframes, because overall, XRP and a lot of the crypto market is lacking momentum, at least for now. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily timeframe, Chainlink, like Solana over the last 1 day, has just confirmed a daily candle close below a very important level of support, which was sitting at around $12.80. So now that we're starting to break below $12.80, and especially if we fail to get back above that level at some point in the next few days, obviously this is significant bearish price structure. And so for the bulls out there, obviously we need to see a breakout back above $12.80 actually confirm with daily candle closes very soon, at some point ideally in the next few days or so, and then hold above that level in order to reclaim that as support. Because once again, if we fail to do that over the next few days and instead start to reject from that level, in that situation, the next support is sitting at the lower $12 area, so around $12.10 to $12.20. But if we fail to hold that as support, and especially if we break below roughly $12, in that situation, we'd likely see another $1 drop, likely below $11, so in between around $10 to $11 as the next major area of support to the downside. And so obviously, at least right now on the daily time frame, it's not looking too good for the price of Chainlink when we're talking about potentially over the next few weeks or possibly months if we fail to get back above $12.80 in the next few days. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, we potentially have a new bullish divergence to watch out for, with obviously lower lows in the price and higher lows in the RSI. But overall, we don't really have a lot of confirmation here, because as we can see, the RSI is still very close to this previous low, which means very, very quickly we could see just a little pullback like this in the RSI, which would very quickly invalidate the bullish divergence. And so ideally, we need to see some more confirmation, a little bit more of a bounce like this in the RSI to be more confident that this low is actually put in place and that we're not just going to basically take out that low in the RSI. Ideally, we need to see more of a bounce here to be more confident in the bullish divergence starting to play out. So overall, once again, we're waiting for confirmation. This is not really that confirmed right now on the 4-hour Chainlink price chart. But like I've been saying throughout the video, even if the bullish divergence actually confirms, don't necessarily expect significant bullish momentum. momentum, maybe just a slight relief or a bit of a break from the bearish price action, maybe just for a couple of days, give or take. But technically on the daily time frame, we're still showing bearish price structure, especially if we fail to get back above $12.80 very soon. But remember, even during bearish price action, you can profit in the crypto market using things like short positions, for example, to actually profit along the way towards the downside. And even during choppy sideways price action, there's also strategies to make a lot of easy profits in the crypto market. And as always, if you want to get set up ready to go to take these trading opportunities, get set up ready to go using the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can take these trades no matter what direction the price is going, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.